Alrighty, you guys, what up? It's your boy MxgicIQ here, and today I'm teaching you guys how to micro drift and drive manual in Need for Speed Unbound. Now, first off, we're going to start with the manual because it's pretty simple. There's not much to explain. I'll just give you guys a few quick tips, and then we'll just get straight to the micro drifting. So let's dive straight in, man. Let's get it. Alright, now before the video starts, I'm going to need you guys to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, man. It helps me out a tremendous amount. So the more love you guys show, the more content I can continue to push out for you guys, and it really helps, man. It keeps us in the algorithm and keeps us going. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find our F40, and that's the car we're going to be using for everything today, as we're also going to be uploading a build video on this car tomorrow, updating the build a little bit. We got a few more horsepowers out of it, horsepers, and a little bit more torque as well. It is tremendous now. It got a couple more miles per hour on the top speed as well, so that helps it out on maps like Getting High Tonight and Rapid Transit. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it, man. Let's go. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna make this as quick and as easy as possible because I could fit a whole bunch more information in this, but to be honest, in order to drive manual, you need to know a little bit about cars, mainly being the forced induction. So you need to know whether your car is twin turbo, supercharged, or big turbo. Okay, if you're using a big turbo, you want to keep your gears at the higher RPMs in corners. You never want to let it drop too low because otherwise you'll get turbo lag, or your car will bog. As well as if you're using twin turbos, you can afford to keep it in one gear and let it fall to lower RPMs because of the fact it will spool right up and get you right into the power band. So that is why you see in this run on blue collar, I will be using only third gear when we get into the micro drifting tutorial. Now, first things first, you're going to want to pull up your settings, right? So we're going to go into the garage here, go over to settings. We're going to go to driving, and we're going to go to gearbox type. Now, right now, you're going to have this on automatic, or if you're on manual already, good for you. You're going to go ahead and switch to manual, okay? This is the biggest one that gets everybody. Everybody comments, hey, Magic, why does my gears always revert back to first gear when I'm trying to launch in second, third, fourth, etc.? This is why. If you have this on, your car will automatically shift back to first for some reason when you're launching. So make sure that this is off. This is the biggest one. It messed with me for the longest amount of time until I finally learned. Now, I'm going to just teach you guys what I do in this car specifically, and that should help you with the rest of your builds. You just mainly have to learn the car you're driving. Everything after this is really practice and repetition. But I'm going to give you guys a few tips on what I do when I first get a car. So first things first is the launch. Now that just comes from testing, and you have to do that in races. So you got to figure out what gear is the best to launch your car in. Or if you know a couple friends or using one of my builds, watch the gameplay or wait for me to say it and actually listen to the whole entire video, because I usually explain it. If not, you guys can watch the gameplays as well. But ask somebody that also uses the car, hey, what gear do you launch in? More of the popular gears to launch in is second and third gear, so I suggest you try those first. And the higher you can get it, the better, honestly, because the less time you can spend shifting gears, the better, because you don't have to bog out of boost or the power band. Now, every time I get a brand new car, I want to learn what each gear tops out at. So I'll just go ahead and accelerate with the car and redline the first gear. So now I know first gear tops out at 70. We'll do the same with second gear, shift into second. See where second gear tops out at. Now, what this is telling me is that now I know second gear tops out around 107 and first gear tops out at about 70. A, it helps me with my shift points, but B, it also helps to know, say, if this corner right here, this little bank, if I know I can take this in third gear, it allows me to upshift. But say for some reason I know the car can't go that fast, I'll keep it in second gear to stay within the power band, especially if I know another, if a hairpin is coming, you'll be able to keep it in second gear knowing, okay, right after this turn, I'm just going to let off the accelerator anyway and I don't need to shift. It really just helps you keep your car in your power band as long as you know the tracks and the car you're driving. So we're going to continue the same process with third gear. I already know for a fact in this car, third gear goes up to around 150 or 160. Now, with a track like Blue Collar and the F40, this car doesn't really surpass 150 on the entire track. Now, the reason it's important to know the speed of your gears as well is because if a corner's coming up and you're on a straightaway and you actually spend the time to upshift in the fourth gear just to downshift again, you're actually going to be losing speed, because when you shift up in the fourth, your miles per hour actually drop by 3 or 4 before you get back into the power band again. So you might as well just stay in that third gear instead of shifting to get the most performance out of your car. Now that we kind of understand how to shift our car, everything else really just comes with practice, knowing that when I e-brake, I downshift at the exact same time just out of habit. That's just something that you're going to have to learn. It's all per car. It just depends on the vehicle. So I suggest you get out there, test your cars, really learn your vehicles and understand where each gear tops out, and just give it a lot of practice. That's the main thing with manuals. It's practice, practice, practice. It's 100% worth it, and it instantly will improve your times after, you know, getting used to it. Your times will improve by at least a second or two without a change. Like, there's no shot you don't improve your times by at least a second. Automatic is nowhere near as good as manual. Now let's get straight into how to micro drift, because this one's going to take a little bit of explaining. Alrighty, you guys, so here we are on Blue Collar. We're going over the gameplay with my F40. This car is amazing to drive. I really love it. It understeers sometimes just a little bit if you get on the NOS or on the throttle a little bit too early on corner exit, but besides that, it's a very, very good and sturdy car. So coming into turn 1 here, I'm just going to fast forward to it. What I like to do is I actually like to pump my brakes 3 times. Now, I use brake to drift. You can use gas to drift, but I personally think brake tap is better because of the fact it is way more consistent. It's a little bit easier for me to feather the throttle. It helps a lot with micro drifting, feathering the throttle, and being able to have total control over your accelerator, because if you just punch it, then sometimes you can cause the car to get too much angle and actually drift instead of micro drift, which you'll actually see at the end of turn 1 here. My car starts to over rotate because I didn't feather the throttle correctly or put the right steering input in, and my car over rotates. But on the following corner, you'll see better examples of real micro drifting and being able to farm at least 1 to 2 bars in the corner and continue the bars into the next corner, as well as get the extra boost from grip bonus. Now, the whole point of micro drifting is that you're drifting and accumulating grip bonus at the same time. So let's go ahead and take a look. Coming into turn 1, as you see, I'll pump my brakes starting right here. I'll actually carry that NOS from the jump. I'll purposely veer over to the right to try and carry the NOS. As you see, I initiated a little bit early just to carry that 1 bar of boost. But as you see, I tap 1, 2, 3. Look at the brake lights one more time. Ready? We're going to go 1, 2, 3. I do it very quickly. It's very light taps. I even give 1 little extra one at the end just to make sure my car doesn't understeer and go straight into the wall. You want to make sure your car does start to actually kick the rear end out just the tiniest bit. And I'm immediately just feathering the throttle here, and then once I get to mid corner, I boost out. Now, I boosted out a little too early, which is going to cause this hiccup right here. As you'll see, I try to correct and I over rotate the car. What you want to do is wait a little bit further into that corner and boost out, and what you'll do is you'll send yourself on a straight line through the shortcut, and you'll actually get what is the burst NOS from grip bonus, which you'll see me get early right here since I over rotated. Now, I was able to save it, but this time could have been a 158 to a 157 had I actually done it properly. Excuse me. But right there, we get a little bit more of a, you know, another little drift bonus right there. I see that my bar right here is about to be full, so I just initiate a tiny micro drift, and what that does is that gives me the first burst bar just to use it, because why not? The more burst NOS, the better, right? Coming into turn number 2 here, we already get another grip bonus off that We already get another grip bonus off that. We already get another grip bonus off of that last micro drift, and now we're extending that to get a full crown coming out of this corner. At least hopefully. I don't think we were able to get the full one, because you don't want to compromise the driving line. Okay? Don't compromise your driving line just to try and get a full crown. It's not worth it. That's the point, actually a little bit later than I would have liked to have hit the burst NOS. But here we get another full bar from grip NOS. Now, what a lot of people do, and is a little bit riskier, there's this technique called Tron turning. Now, I'm not that good at it. Cube is a beast at it. He's getting really good at it. I can't do it that well. They will explain that at a later time over on Alex Cornut's channel, I believe. I'll get some confirmation about that. If not, I'll do it here, learning it, hopefully at some point. But I want to leave that for them, because he did say he was going to make a video on that. So make sure you guys go over there and show him some love as well. And stay tuned, because they might make that tutorial here in the future. But you can connect that grip NOS to here and get a full crown, but I like to do it the safer way and just farm 1 bar off this corner and get a full burst just on the straight line, and it's decent as well. It's not the fastest, but as you see, we get the 1 bar here, I burst out, and we get the grip bonus as well here. Could have used a full bar there, but it's all good. Sometimes you want to over-exaggerate your corners as well. As you see, I kind of over-exaggerate this right banking turn here to purposely get a grip NOS. Now, I could have taken a straighter line, but I wanted that grip turn right there, so that initiating into this corner, I could abuse it and hopefully get a full crown on the exit, or at least 2 bars to use before we get the full crown grip bonus. So here we go, going into this corner. Boom, we get 1 bar. Be careful hitting the burst NOS while you're first getting used to micro drifting while in the corner, because it's a burst of speed that if you're using the wrong car and you don't understand your car, for example like the GTR, if I were to do that, the car would instantly go from micro drifting to boom, into a wall. It would be over. So you got to know your car. That's the main thing about this game. Once you know your cars, you're good. So here we go. What we like to do at the top of blue collar here is actually carry the NOS. So I did another little micro drift to carry the NOS to a full crown and use it for this corner as well. It's the most beneficial thing in the game. And also I had a hiccup here as well. This run was butchered by hiccups and I still got my first sub 2 minute. This build is just that much better, you guys. You guys got to check it out. So we're going on the uphill here. And as we said in the manual tutorial earlier, notice I'm not switching to third. Even though I've redlined throughout this entire section, there's no point for me to switch into third because it's actually slower for me to shift. If I were to shift the car into fourth right here, fourth. If I were to shift the car into fourth right here, it would drop down to 140 miles per hour and I'd be going up that hill at 130. I'm carrying so much more momentum being at high RPM than I would in a higher gear. Now, you're going to lose speed when you switch from off-road to tarmac here, so you don't want to shift up either. And there's no reason to shift here either because you're initiating straight into another burst turn. Again, we ripped the E-brake there. Now that's another technique that you can use on sharper turns where you can just cut the whole line. Initiate another perfect micro drift here. We burst out at the end of it. We get that bar. Carry it into the next corner. Get the full crown. Use it at the end to burst out even earlier. Carry that next grip bonus into this, get a full crown on the straight. Somehow I get another full crown, I think. We're going to save that for the last corner. We're going to burst about 3/4 of the way through the corner, get another burst NOS to go straight over the line, and that's the only time you shift into fourth this whole race. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's the best way I can explain micro drifting. Alrighty, you guys, so last thing here, I just want to show you guys what my input would look like on the controller. So this is how I hold my controller for manual and for micro drifting, obviously. What we would do is when we come into turn 1 on blue collar, I'm usually on the throttle, full throttle. Say we were in 4th gear just to be able to demonstrate it. What I would do is I would go in 4th gear. We're coming up to the corner. I'm going to downshift. Immediately, I'm going to hit the downshift, right? We're going to be in 3rd gear now, and I'm going to triple tap like this. That's literally how I do it. It's literally boom, downshift, triple tap. It's so quick. I don't even put that much pressure. Just boom, 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 right? And then I ease back onto the throttle and input a very, very slight amount of steering angle, like maybe that much, right? And then I kind of feel it out. I feel for when I get that second bar of burst NOS or that first bar of burst NOS. And once I feel comfortable in the corner to the point where the car doesn't feel like it's going to over rotate, using the vibration of the controller, I will hit the burst NOS and exit the corner and then accumulate the grip NOS and either carry that into whatever corner's next or use it on a straightaway. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. I did my best explaining it. It's really hard. It's all a feel thing, but it really depends on if you're using gas tap or brake tap. I think brake tap is faster. The homie Cube switched to it. Crown Sin says he switched to it. But there's guys out there like Water Blob and Koist that think gas tap is faster, but that might just be better for them. It's all a feel thing. So I hope you guys enjoy. Go out and get used to your cars and learn how to drive even faster. Manual will make you faster automatically. Micro drifting, once you are able to actually get really, really good at it, you will farm burst NOS like no other. It's insane. It'll save most of your even butchered times. Like you guys saw in that gameplay, that was very butchered, honestly. I messed up like 2 or 3 times and we still got my first sub 2 minute time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. F40 build coming out tomorrow. Love y'all. Stay safe. IQ gang, y'all are the best. Peace.